The night was very quiet. The big house stood like a palace, full of lights, but inside one small corner, darkness lived. Cold air moved slowly through the long halls. Everyone was asleep. On the hard marble floor, near the servants' room, a woman was lying down. Her name was Mary. She was a black maid. Her back was hurting. Her arms were tired. She did not complain. She was holding a small baby close to her chest. The baby was only a few months old. Mary used her old scarf to cover the baby. She tried to block the cold air with her own body. She whispered softly, "Sleep, my angel mama is here." The baby slowly closed his eyes. Mary looked at the ceiling. Tears rolled down her face, but she stayed silent. She had no bed, no blanket. Only the cold floor, but for her baby, she could handle anything. A life full of Pi Mary was not always a maid. Once she had dreams. She wanted to study. She wanted a better life. But life was not kind to her. Her parents died when she was young. Later, she married a man she trusted. But that man left her. The moment she told him she was pregnant. No calls, no messages, no help. Mary was alone, with no money and no family. She had only one choice: work. She came to the city and found a job in a billionaire's house. The owner's name was Mr. Robert. He was rich, very rich. But he was also known as a cold man. He spoke little. He trusted no one. Mary never saw him smile. Rules of the HOSE. The house had many rules. Servants could not sit on sofas. Servants could not use beds. Servants could not bring personal problems inside the house. Mary broke one rule. She brought her baby. She had no one to leave him with at first. She was scared, but the house manager said, "Just don't let the baby disturb anyone." So Mary worked during the day. She cleaned rooms. She washed clothes. She cooked food at night when everyone slept. She fed her baby. She slept on the floor every night. The baby's roommate that night was colder than usual. The baby suddenly moved. Mary felt his body shaking. She touched his forehead. It was hot, too. Hot. Her heart started beating fast. "No, no, please no," she whispered. The baby started crying. A weak cry. Mary sat up quickly. She tried to calm him. She rocked him slowly, but the baby's breathing became fast. Mary's hands started shaking. She had seen this before. Fever high. Fever. She checked the time to 37 a.m. All doors were locked. The house was silent. Mary did not have money for a doctor. She did not even have a phone with balance. Fear filled her heart. She hugged the baby tightly. "Please, God, help me," she cried softly. The last OPTO. Mary remembered something. There was a phone in the servant hallway. It was only for emergencies. She looked around. If someone saw her, she could lose her job, but her baby's life was more important. She stood up fast. She held the baby close and walked quietly. Every step felt heavy. The baby cried again. Mary covered his mouth gently. "It's okay. Mama is here." She reached the phone. Her hands were shaking so badly that she dropped the receiver once. She picked it up again. She dialed a number. Her voice was broken when someone answered. "Hello." A deep voice said. Mary froze. She recognized the voice. It was Mr. Robert, the billionaire himself. The desperate CAL. Mary swallowed hard. "Sir, I'm sorry to call," she said softly. There was silence on the other side. Then he said coldly, "What is it?" Mary's tears fell on the floor. "My baby, he is sick," she said. "He has high fever. He is not breathing well." Her voice cracked. "I don't know what to do," she cried. "Please help me." The baby cried louder. Mr. Robert heard it. He stood up from his bed. "What baby?" he asked sharply. Mary panicked. I'm sorry, sir. Bring my baby with me. I had no choice." There was silence again. Long silence. Mary thought this was the end. She thought she would be fired. But suddenly, "Where are you?" Mr. Robert asked. His voice was different now, less cold. "The turning moment, I'm in the servant hallway," Mary replied. "Stay there," he said. "Don't move." The call ended. Mary sat on the floor. She hugged her baby. Her heart was beating fast. Was he angry? Was she in trouble? Or was help coming? Footsteps echoed in the hallway, slow, heavy. Mary looked up. The shadow of a tall man appeared. The billionaire was coming, and what he was about to see would change everything. The hallway lights were dim. Mary sat on the cold floor, holding her baby tightly. Her heart was beating very fast. Every second felt heavy. Then she heard footsteps, slow, strong, confident. Someone was coming. Mary looked up. It was Mr. Robert, the billionaire of the house. He was wearing a dark robe. His face looked serious. His eyes were sharp. Mary quickly tried to stand. "I'm sorry, sir," she said nervously. "I didn't want to wake anyone." Her voice was shaking. Mr. Robert raised his hand. "Sit," he said calmly. Mary froze. She slowly sat back down. The baby cried again. Louder this time, mister. Robert looked at the baby for the first time. His eyes stopped moving. The child was burning with fever. His small face was red. His lips were dry. Mr. Robert felt something strange in his chest, something he had not felt in years. A silent moment. The hallway was quiet. Only the baby's weak cry could be heard. Mr. Robert knelt down slowly. Mary was shocked. A billionaire kneeling on the floor. He touched the baby's forehead. His expression changed. "This is serious," he said. Mary's eyes filled with tears. "I tried everything," she cried. "I used cold water. I prayed. I had no money for a doctor." She lowered her head. "I was scared to call you." Mr. Robert stood up suddenly. "Get up," he said. Mary thought she was in trouble, but then he added, "We are going to the hospital now." Mary could not believe her ears. The rush to the HOSPITAL within minutes. The big black car was ready. The driver looked shocked. He had never seen Mr. Robert come out at night. Mary sat in the back seat, holding her baby. Her hands were still shaking. Mr. Robert sat beside her. No one spoke. The car moved fast through empty roads. Mary looked at Mr. Robert. His face was calm. But his eyes were not. They were filled with memories, painful memories. A painful FLOCHB 6 years ago. Mr. Robert had sat in a car just like this. Beside him was his wife. In her arms was their baby. That night, his baby was also sick, but they were too late. The accident took them away forever. Mr. Robert closed his eyes tightly. Not again, not this time. The doctors sat the hospital. Doctors rushed in. They took the baby from Mary's arms. Mary cried loudly. "That's my baby. Please be careful." Mr. Robert placed his hand on her shoulder. "He will be okay," he said firmly. Minutes felt like hours. Mary sat on a chair. Shaking, she kept praying. Mr. Robert stood near the window, silent, finally. The doctor came out. "The baby has a strong fever," the doctor said. "But you brought him just in time." Mary fell to her knees. "Thank you, God," she cried. Mr. Robert released a deep breath. The question that changed every to change after some time. The baby was stable. Mary was allowed to see him. She smiled through tears. Mr. Robert watched quietly. Then he asked a question. Why didn't you tell anyone you were sleeping on the floor? Mary looked down. I didn't want to lose my job, she said softly. I needed this work. My baby needs food. Oh, Mr. Robert felt shame. This house was full of beds, full of rooms, full of money. Yet a mother slept on the floor. The unexpected ordr when they returned home. It was almost morning, mister. Robert called the house manager. Prepare the guest room, he said, for Mary and her baby. The manager was shocked. Sir? The guest room? Yes, Mr. Robert said firmly. And from today, she will not sleep on the floor. Mary's mouth opened in surprise. I don't understand, she whispered. Mr. Robert looked at her. No child in my house will sleep on the floor, he said. His voice was strong, but his eyes were soft. A new BGI-9G that night changed everything. Mary held her baby in a real bed for the first time. She cried quietly, not from pain, from relief, from hope, from gratitude. Outside the room, Mr. Robert stood alone. He looked at the closed door for the first time in many years. He felt his heart beating. Again, morning light entered the big house slowly. For most people, it was just another day. But for Mary and Mr. Robert, nothing felt the same. Mary woke up on a soft bed. For a moment, she thought she was dreaming. She touched the pillow. She touched the blanket, her. Baby was sleeping peacefully beside her. Mary covered her mouth with her hand. Tears came again. Not tears of pain, tears of thankfulness. A strange silence, downstairs. Mr. Robert sat alone at the dining table. A full breakfast was served, but he did not eat. He stared at his coffee. His mind was not there. It was in the past. Past he never talked about. Past he tried to forget. But last night brought everything back. The day everything broke years ago. Mr. Robert was not cold. He was smiling, happy, alive. He had a wife named Anna. She was kind, warm, full of life. They had a baby boy. That baby was his world. One night, the baby got sick, high fever. Just like Mary's baby, Mr. Robert was busy with a business call. He said, it will be fine. But it was not. On the way to the hospital, an accident happened. Sirens, screams, blood. That night, Mr. Robert lost everything. Since then, he closed his heart. He built walls made of money. He became a man with no emotions. Back to the pre-synthetha sound of a baby crying broke his thoughts. Mr. Robert stood up slowly. The sound came from upstairs, from Mary's room. His feet moved. On their own, he stopped outside the door. He did not knock. He just stood there, listening. Mary was singing softly. A simple song, not perfect, but full of love. Mr. Robert felt his throat tightened. That song was familiar. Anna used to sing like that. Anne. Unexpected one later that day. Mary was cleaning the kitchen. She looked nervous. She did not know how to act now. Was she still a maid or something else? Mr. Robert entered the kitchen. The room became silent. Mary lowered her head. Good morning, sir, she said softly. Mr. Robert nodded. How is the baby? He asked. Mary looked surprised. He is better, she replied. Thank you for everything. Her voice was honest. Mr. Robert paused. Then he said, why didn't you ever ask for help? Mary stopped working. She thought for a moment. Because I learned early. She said that asking for help doesn't always bring help. Her words were simple, but they hit deep. Mary's story. Mr. Robert sat down. Tell me about yourself, he said. Mary hesitated. Then she spoke. She talked about her childhood, about losing her parents, about trusting the wrong man. She talked about sleeping hungry, about crying alone. about holding her baby and promising him a better life. "I was scared every day," she said, "but I could not give up. Kay needs me. Kay," she pointed to her baby. Mr. Robert listened quietly. No phone. No interruption. For the first time in years, he truly listened. The GUALT after Mary left, Mr. Robert sat alone again. He looked around the house, so big, so rich, so empty. He remembered how many times he walked past servants, never looking at their faces, never asking their names. He thought money was enough, but he was wrong. Very wrong. A decision in Salience, my 99 Mr. Robert made a decision. Not loud, not dramatic, but powerful. He called the house manager. "Mary will not work full days anymore," he said. "She will rest when the baby needs her." The manager was shocked, "And her salary will increase," Mr. Robert added. He ended the call. He stood near the window. Outside, the sky was orange. For the first time in years, he did not feel alone. A small moment, a big change that night. Mr. Robert walked past Mary's room again. The door was slightly open. He saw Mary sitting on the bed, reading to her baby. The baby laughed. A real laugh. Mr. Robert smiled. A small smile, but a real one. Inside his heart, something whispered, maybe loss is not the end. Maybe love can return. The house felt different now. Not louder, not brighter, but warmer. Mary noticed it first. People spoke softly around her. No one shouted. No one rushed her. Still, Mary felt uneasy. Good things in her life never stayed long. She waited every day for something bad to happen. A strange envelope one afternoon. Mary was cleaning the study room. This room was special. Mr. Robert rarely allowed anyone inside as she dusted the table. A small envelope fell to the floor. Mary froze. She picked it up slowly. Her hands were shaking. The envelope had a name on it. Daniel. She did not know why, but her heart skipped. Daniel, that was her baby's name. She stared at the envelope. Was it a coincidence? She did not open it. She placed it back carefully and left the room. But her mind was not calm. Any more the question that would not leave that evening. Mary sat on her bed. Her baby slept peacefully. She looked at his face. Then she whispered, "Why does this house feel so familiar?" She remembered the study room, the photos on the wall. One photo showed a woman holding a baby. The baby had eyes, just like hers and just like her son's. Mary felt fear. She did not want to think too much. Some questions bring pain. A silent OBCR Mr. Robert watched Mary from a distance. He noticed how she paused in rooms, how she stared at old photos. He felt nervous. There was something he had never told anyone, something he buried deep. He told himself, it's not possible. But doubt had entered his heart. The doctors fell that night. Mr. Robert opened an old drawer. Inside were hospital papers, adoption papers, test results. His hands trembled. Years ago, told him something. His baby survived for some time. Then disappeared. There were mistakes, confusion, records missing. Mr. Robert never searched. He was broken. He ran from the pain. Now the past was knocking a simple CONVOS to the next morning. Mr. Robert called Mary. They sat in the garden. Birds were singing. He asked gently, "Where were you born?" Mary answered, "A small town, same town as the hospital." Mr. Robert's chest tightened. He asked again, "When was your baby born?" Mary told the date. Mr. Robert felt dizzy. It was the same day. The same year. The truth begins to SHOW. Mary noticed his face. "Sir, are you okay?" she asked. Mr. Robert nodded, but inside, everything was shaking. He looked at the baby playing on the grass. The baby laughed. That laugh, he had heard it before. Long ago, a DNA test days later. Mr. Robert made a decision quietly. He ordered a DNA test. No. One new dot, not even Mary. Waiting was painful. Every moment felt long. When the results came, Mr. Robert locked himself in the study. He read the paper once, then again his hands covered his. Mouth tears fell. Real tears. The baby was his grandson. The reason for Celian's scientific truth was clear. Now his lost son had lived, had grown, had loved, and had died. Leaving behind a child, Mr. Robert fell to his knees. All these years, family was never gone. It was sleeping under his roof. The house was silent that night. Too silent, Mr. Robert sat alone in his study room. The DNA report lay open on the table. He did not touch it again. He already knew the truth. The baby sleeping upstairs was not just a child in need. He was blood. Family. His grandson, Mr. Robert, closed his eyes. Tears rolled down his face. For years, he believed his family was gone forever, but life had returned them to him. In the most unexpected way, a heavy Moarnangi morning came slowly. Mary was in the kitchen, feeding her baby. She felt something strange in the air. Everyone looked nervous. No one spoke. Then the house manager came. "Mary," he said softly, "Sir wants to see you." Mary's heart dropped. Fear returned. She kissed her baby's forehead. "Stay here," she whispered. Her hands were cold as she walked to the study room. The closed dude armory stood outside the door. She took a deep breath. She knocked. "Come in," Mr. Roberts said. His voice sounded different. Mary entered. She stood near the door. Her eyes were down. "Yes, sir?" she asked quietly. Mr. Robert looked at her, really looked at her, her tired eyes, her strong posture, her quiet courage. "Sit down, Mary," he said. She obeyed. Her heart was racing. The first question, Mr. Robert spoke slowly. "Tell me about Daniel's father." Mary froze. Her hands tightened. She did not expect that question. He passed away," she said softly. "When?" Mr. Robert asked. Mary told the year. The room felt heavy. Mr. Robert stood up. He walked to the window. His back faced her. "Did he ever talk about his family?" he asked. Mary shook her head. "He said he was alone," she replied. "He said his parents were dead." Mr. Robert closed his eyes. Pain hit him like a wave. "The truth comes, Meister." Robert turned around. His eyes were wet. "Mary," he said, "there is something you need to know." Mary felt fear rise. He walked to the table. He picked up the DNA report and placed it in front of her. "I did a test," he said. Mary looked confused. "Why?" she asked. Mr. Robert took a deep breath. "Because Daniel is my grandson." Mary felt the world stop. She stared at him, her mouth opened, but no sound came out. "No, that's not possible," she whispered. Mr. Robert nodded. "I wish it was not true," he said, "but it is." Pain and Ange. A.R. Mari stood up suddenly. Tears filled her eyes. "Then where were you?" she cried. "Where was this family when my baby's father died?" Her voice shook. "I slept on floors," she continued. "I begged for work. I cried alone." Mr. Robert felt every word. "I failed," he said quietly. "I failed my son, and I failed you." He lowered his head. "I was running from pain," he added. "And in doing that, I hurt others." A moment of tru. Mary wiped her tears. She looked at Mr. Robert not as a billionaire, but as a broken man. "I didn't need money," she said softly. "I just needed someone to care." Mr. Robert nodded. "I know," he replied. "And I want to make it right. A pro Mia C, Mr. Robert looked at her with honesty. "Daniel will never sleep on the floor again," he said. "And neither will you." Mary felt her chest tighten. "I don't know how to trust," she said. "I will earn it," Mr. Robert replied. "Not with money, with actions." The morning felt lighter. Sunlight entered the house through wide windows. It touched the walls, the floors, and the hearts of the people inside. Mary woke up early. She looked at her baby, sleeping peacefully. She still felt unsure. Was all this real? Or was it just a temporary kindness? She did not know. But she chose to move forward. A different Bayar Kifstath that morning. Something unusual happened. Mr. Robert asked Mary and Daniel to join him for breakfast. The dining table was large. For years, Mary only cleaned it. She never sat there. Mary hesitated. "Sir." "I shouldn't," she said softly. Mr. Robert looked at her. "This is not about should," he said. "This is about family." Mary slowly sat down. Her heart was beating fast. Daniel laughed and hit the table with his tiny hands. That sound filled the room. Mr. Robert smiled. A real smile. Small steps. Big days passed. Mr. Robert did not rush anything. He knew wounds take time to heal. He hired a nurse to help with Daniel. He arranged medical checkups. He made sure Mary rested. Mary started studying again. Simple classes. Simple books, but big dreams. Every night, she read to Daniel. Every morning. Mr. Robert watched them quietly. Love was growing. Slowly. The house changes. The servants noticed the change. The house was not cold anymore. Mr. Robert spoke politely. He listened. He noticed people. Rules changed. No one slept on the floor. No one was invisible. Mary was no longer just a maid. She was respected. A moment of fair one night, Mary could not sleep. She sat on the bed, holding Daniel. "What if this ends?" she whispered. Fear still lived inside her. She walked to the balcony. Mr. Robert was there, looking at the stars. "You are scared," he said gently. Mary nodded. "I'm afraid to lose this," she said. Mr. Robert turned to her. "I lost everything once," he replied. "I will not lose this again." His words were calm, but strong. A promise kept weeks later. Mr. Robert took Mary and Daniel outside the city to a quiet place, a small house. "This is yours," he said. Mary's eyes widened. "For your independence," he added. "You will always have a place." Mary cried. Not because of money, because of safety, because of dignity. Daniel's first STPs one afternoon. Daniel took his first steps. Mary clapped. Mr. Robert laughed loudly. He held Daniel in his arms. "My boy?" he whispered. Tears filled his eyes. Taut pain was turning into purpose. A new BGING life did not become perfect, but it became real. Mary grew stronger. Mr. Robert grew softer. Daniel grew loved. The past did not disappear, but it stopped controlling them. Time moved forward. Seasons changed. The small baby who once slept on a cold floor was now a happy child. His name was Daniel, and he was never alone again. A full circle. One evening, rain fell softly outside the big house. Mary stood near the window, watching Daniel play. She remembered that cold night, the floor, the fear, the desperate call. She touched her heart. Life had changed, not because of luck, but because someone finally chose to see her pain. A different Mr. Robert sat in his chair, reading a book to Daniel. Years ago, he never spoke much. Now, his voice was warm. The cold billionaire was gone. In his place stood a grandfather, a man who learned that money can build houses, but kindness builds homes. The Question that mattered to Daniel looked up and asked, "Grandpa, why do you love me so much?" Mr. Roberts smiled. "Because I almost lost you," he said softly. "And losing once teaches you the value of holding tight." Mary listened quietly. Tears filled her eyes. Mary's GROWTH Mary was no longer afraid. She finished her studies. She started working with children in need. She helped mothers like her. She became the help she once prayed for. She did not forget the floor she slept on. She used it as strength. The final Gatak Roanji one day. The house was full of people. Servants. Friends. Children. Mr. Roberts stood in the center. "I made many mistakes," he said. "I was blind to pain around me." He looked at Mary. "She taught me that kindness is not weakness." Mary held Daniel's hand. Pride filled her heart. The last session that night. Daniel slept in his bed. Warm, safe, loved. Mary turned off the light. She whispered, "We made it." Mr. Roberts stood outside the door. He closed his eyes. Peace filled his heart. Final life lessons so on. Sometimes help comes late. Sometimes pain stays long. But when hearts open, lives change. Never ignore suffering. Never judge silence. And never underestimate one act of kindness. Because the floor you sleep on today may be the story that inspires tomorrow.